Hashem Yisbarach, Yom Revi, Parshas Bo, Shnas Tovshin Ayin Vov, Yeshiva Tiferes Avigdor. Today's shiur is being sponsored by an anonymous person, Shimali Hashem SHLITA, Liboy L'Tova, Kol Mishalis Liboy L'Tova. And it should be a shalom, the Gufay, and the Ruchay, and the Memoilai. There are many practical lessons to be learned from Yetzias Mitzrayim. In our lifetime, most of us, perhaps all of us, will be challenged at one time and another with a feeling of being in Mitzrayim. Whether it comes through Avodah Kosha and Avodas Perech, Al Yidei Achoili, whether it comes through a difficult situation in life, whether it comes through whatever, an emotional challenge. But whatever the challenge is, the common denominator between all the challenges is, you feel like you're in Mitzrayim. You feel like the walls are closing in on you. You feel like there's nowhere to turn, and the walls are just getting taller, and you don't see a way out. And then you start to feel that, will I ever get out of here? And you start to feel that this is going to be a lifetime sentence, a life sentence, and you look to get out. So one of the things you do is, people like to run to Rabbanim. I like that. Schoolers. I know a fellow I called up was going through a challenging time. I said, where are you going? What are you doing? He said, I'm heading for the plane now. I said, plane? Where are you going? He said, I'm going to Morocco. I said, you're going to Morocco? What did you discover, Sephardic roots? He said, no. I heard about, I'm not sure if it was a lady or a man, whose caver in Morocco is respected. I said, what city? I told him that's a third world country you're going to. You're not going to a regular place. The place you're going for, I said, the airport, when you land in that airport, you're going to feel like you arrived in Uganda. And Kachava. It was a third world country. Did it help him? I don't think so. Whatever his problem was, I knew his problem, didn't get solved. He's still scratching his head. He tries this, he goes to this caver, to that caver. And people have to know, we were once in Mitzrayim. And Mitzrayim was that kind of situation. That's number one. Number two, what happens is a person starts to feel a feeling of worthlessness. Leiv Yodei Amaris Nafshe, each person knows what he's about. Everybody knows what Averis he does, the tzina. Everybody knows what he thinks about in the chadorim of his mind, the thoughts of kina, of taiva, of kavod. And you think, you know what, that I deserve this. I think I deserve this. And you feel like, well, what's going to happen over here? So you have to know that there's a precedent. And there's a method in a methodical way, or how a person could acquire for himself schus. Now, in this week's parsha it says, in Perek Yud Beis, V'hoya lachem limishmeres. Hashem said, take this Korban Pesach and watch it till Arba Osir Yom L'Chodesh Hazeh, to the 14th day of Nisan. And then you shecht it. So Rashi says, what we learn from here is that Mishmeres is a term of Bikur. A korban requires Bikur for Daled Yom. And Rashi says, what was this all about? Umipnei ma higdim likichosoi l'shchitosoi arba yomim. Why did Hashem mitzvah them to purchase the Korban Pesach 4 days before, which is not a halacha in Pesach Doiros? What's the pshat? So why over here is this so? Did Hashem command them? Now you have to understand that there is also an obligation to be mevaker, a korban, all the time, of Daled Yom. But you don't have to do it yourself. The seller could sell you checked sheeps. And then you can go buy it from him right away. On the 14th, Pesach Mitzrayim, each individual had an obligation to go and be mevaker his own karbanos. So what's the reason? So it says for this, Rabbi Masya ben Choresh used to explain, based on the words of the Navi Yecheskel, that this was L'tzairach, their geula. Harei Ho'emer, it says in the pasuk, V'evar alayich, v'erech. Hashem said, I passed over you and I saw, V'hinei iteich eis doidim. And the time has come. And Hashem says, Higia shvua shenishbati la'Avram, the shvua that came to Avram came, she'egal esbanav, that I'm going to redeem his children. V'loi hoyu b'yodam, they didn't have in their hands mitzvahs le'esasik b'hem, kidei she'yigolu. Like it says, va'at eiroim ve'eryam. Klal Yisroel was spiritually unclothed. V'nasan lahem shtei mitzvahs, Hashem gave them 2 mitzvahs. Dam Pesach and Dam Milah. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what did they need this for? Because they were shotuf, they were sunk into the Avodah Zarah. And for that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told them, Mishchu ukchu lachem, acquire the Korban Pesach. Mishchu yedechem, withdraw your hands from Avodah Zarah and purchase a tzoyin of mitzvah. So that's why over there, they were in a very tough matziv. So Hashem told them to purchase a Korban Pesach as a sign that they were willing to dedicate themselves to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Plus, Hashem gave them the mitzvah of Milah to go ahead, and this was their ticket to be married with Chusin to get out of Mitzrayim. So you have to understand something. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a promise to Avram Avinu that he's going to be Goyal Klal Yisrael from the Gzeirus HaGolus. And the Tkufa of the Golus began with the Leida of Yitzchak. And from there, 400 years. No. L'chayra, why wasn't the haftacha that Hashem gave to Avram Avinu enough to get them out? That's the question. And the answer here is, you learn a tremendous principle. And that is that even if a person has a haftacha mifureshes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be redeemed, the haftacha alone is not sufficient to get you redeemed. What do you need? You need your own zechuyos, your own merits, in order for this haftacha to be fulfilled. Now, mitzad HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he had an absolute will to be goyal klal Yisroel. Like Chazal say, Magid kivin shehigia, a case Hashem didn't wait, delay at all. He took him out keheref ayin. And like we see, it says on Tes Vav Nisan, Hashem had that famous bris bein abisorim with Avram. On Tes Vav Nisan, the Malachim came to Avram to tell him that he's going to have a child. And in Tes Vav Nisan, Yitzchak was born. And so too it says, Vayihi b'yom hazeh Tes Vav Nisan, Yotzu, everybody left Mitzrayim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to be goyal them. They weren't ready to be nigel. It's not enough. Now that's a powerful lesson. I want to tell you that something that I've heard many times in my life. People have gone to bigger people when they were in need. Let's say for a shidduch. Or let's say they were in need of a shidduch, and they went to a Rav, and they thought they got a haftacha to get a shidduch. I give you a haftacha, you're going to get a shidduch. Yeah. But, there you go. Very upset. I know somebody who got a haftacha, a number of people got a haftacha from certain people. I'm haftiach you, you're going to have a child. That's a big, tall order. For somebody to give you a haftacha, you have a child, that's a tall order. And they didn't have one. Very upset. What kind of business? They gave me a haftacha. There's a secret to the haftacha. Getting a haftacha, let's assume it works. It's not better than the haftacha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. No bigger maftiach than HaKadosh Baruch Hu exists. Yet, we learn from Yitzias Mitzrayim that even when Hashem is maftiach you, that's not enough to get you out. You sometimes have to do your own schus. Give you an example. Avram Avinu. Hashem gave him haftacha, he's going to have a child. If I were Avram, know what I would have done? I would have sat back and relaxed in a hammock and say, bring it to me. Bring me the son, my Rebbeinu Shalom. But you know what he understood? He understood that in order to get such a Ma'aseh Chesed, that was going to be the most tremendous Ma'aseh Chesed possible. Even though his Muna was stark and Hashem was Vayachshavel Lo Tzedakah, and even though he did tremendous things, when he was 100 years old, he had a bris. He understood that I got to do a special Ma'aseh Chesed. I got to do a special Ma'aseh Chesed. Do a special Ma'aseh Chesed? That Mesiras Nefesh of Avram Avinu, Yom Shlishi L'Milosa, and he did a Chesed with the Zelba Ritza, with the Zelba running and exertion and Tircha, Kaina V'Kaina. What happened? HaKadosh Baruch Hu was mevaser him then, those three malachim. Bingo. Bingo, now you're going to have the child. You should have said, shit, now? What do you mean now? It's right, we have kids. I took him at my word. Now what if Avram Avinu would have not have done that? And then it wouldn't have happened, Chas v'Shalom. He would have come to Shemayim, and he would have said to Hashem, would have said, do you have any questions, my dear Avram? And perhaps Avram would have said, all my life I never questioned you, Hashem. But now I finally got a big one. You promised. You gave me a word. And Hashem was going to say to you, you missed an opportunity. Here's a lady, calls me up, and she would call me almost every month. Listen, I wasn't home, she couldn't get a hold of me. Maybe she was out of town, and she didn't have a child. And she would cry on the phone, terrible. But another month went by, and she saw she wasn't having a child. It went on for a year. I davened for her. I told Mitzrayim, you're going to have a child. Why shouldn't you have a child? Roi's people have a child. I said, 1 out of 6 are challenged not having children. That's 5 out of... Why can't you... You're I told her, you should assume and presume you're going to have kids. After 10 years, she gave up. No, she didn't give up. Sorry. What happened was her husband gave up. He said to her, honey, sweetie pie, ishti, basi, it seems this is not the cards for us. Let's accept it, and I'm not going to think about it anymore. And she called me up screaming, my husband gave up. I said, who cares? He gives up. You don't have to give up. You don't need him. No, I speak to him. And then I became aware of the fact, Hashem revealed to me, that Avram Avinu needed to do a super chesed in order to have a child. That was his ticket to unlock even when there's haftach. So I told her, seek and daven for an opportunity to do chesed. So there was a Chassidish Rebbe who came to town with his entourage. They wanted their own home. They wanted to take over a place. And they wanted to private tish for a week. So she said, okay. But there was a condition. They kasher your home like Pesach. They bring their own kalim. They don't use your kalim. You got to pack everything up. Pack it. If you don't want, they'll do it for you. And you can't cook in your house for that week. Whatever you want. You just say, I'd like a tea, I'd like a coffee. You get it pronto. They'll serve you like the Rebbe. But you can't cook. Anyway, this woman and couple was about as used to Chassidim. She was more used to people from the jungle than she was to Chassidim. They were a different culture, different creatures for her. They took over a house. She calls me after 2 days. I don't know what's with these people. They don't sleep. They're up. She just got up early sleep at 9:30 every night, at 10 o'clock, like a nice time. See, these people are up to ungodly hours, in the 3 or 4 o'clock. I don't understand. I said, don't worry about that. Let them do their thing. You just do the chesed. You provide it. The 3rd day in the morning, she decided they went to sleep. She was running around the house like 3 o'clock. She figures at 5 o'clock she can get up and have a cup of coffee. So she went down. And she put the hot water on, started cooking hot water. And all of a sudden, she said, from all the rooms, all the doors opened up, and these people in white tachrichim came running out. See them wear white like shrouds with the night. And they came running out, oh! And she thought she was being attacked. And they said, what do you want? What do you want? Just tell me what you want. Whatever you want, we'll give it to you. And she said, I had enough. I can't handle this anymore. I feel my life is what you want. And she nicely told them that she can't do it. The next year, they called her again. And she called me up. I said, I don't know why I'm calling you. I said, I want to tell you something. My dear lady, I said, Hashem has given you a chance for you. This is your Maisach Nosis Orchim with Mesiras Nefesh. It's not taking a guy, making a coffee and telling him to sit in that corner, sit there, sit there. You're letting people take over your life. for 1 week. Is that not worth a kid? Is that not worth a shot? What if this is your ticket? And I said, prepare yourself, mentally, emotionally. I said, maybe go away for a week. So, where am I going to go? Anyway, she did it for a week. And that year, she had a baby. Number 1. And then number 2. She asked me after the first one, could I ask for another one? I said, of course. If Avigdor had more than one, why should you have more than one? Right people have more than one, go for more. And she had 2. And then she said, can I go for 3? We're talking a lady who didn't get married, she was 20. When she got married, she was in her high 20s, close to 30. And she discovered she had a physical challenge to having children. And now, 15 years had gone by having kids. But Hashem blessed her with 3 kids. Eventually 3 children. Now, can you imagine, had she not done this thing, would have come to Shemayim, bitter. She would have said, Hashem, why did you do this to me? And Hashem would have said, you had my word. I was maftiach you had kids. You blew it. I was trying to help you. Didn't you learn from Yitzias Mitzrayim? You have to know, you have to look, what was Hashem? Hashem didn't tell them, give a little tzedakah. He didn't say that. He wanted to have Mesiras Nefesh. He wanted to have the Pesach and the Milah. He wanted to show those people who did mal themselves to break their will and now align yourself with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is what you have to do. This is the ticket to get yourself out of Mitzrayim. That's number 1. This is a very, very important yesod in our lives. You don't see that Hashem told Moshe, told the Yidden, tell them to line up by you and you'll give them all brachas. Tell them to give you a kvittel. Tell them to give you this. No, he said, tell them to earn their right to get out of Mitzrayim. That's what Hashem wants to do. So, that's number 1. So, there was a bris that Hashem was karas with Avram Avinu. Oh, sure. That was number 1. So, in every situation, I told the person, so one person once told me, oh, I never had a bris with Hashem. I said, first of all, you did have a bris with Hashem. And second of all, it's time to start davening. He says, what do you mean? I said, do you know, you say a davening every day. Does Hashem want to heal people? Hashem took a position. He opened up an organization called Roifei Chayli Ami Yisroel. Hashem is the Roifei Chayli Ami Yisroel. Hashem wants to heal you. Hashem wants to give you parnasa, Baruch Aleinu Hashem. Hashem wants us to do tshuva because it says Hashem is a right to tshuva. That's Hashem's choice. If Hashem wants to give it to you, that's number 1. Number 2, what you do is, so you have to have, that's what bitachon and emunah comes. Emunah and bitachon, you have to say to Hashem, Hashem, I know you want me to get healthy. I know you want me to get better. It's a very important lesson. Recently, a person called me up and they found a number of growths on a very chashuv part in your body. That usually is the curtain call. Usually a very serious situation. Very recent second. The person called me up. I heard that in my parsha. I was thinking inside, now we're starting this parsha. There's going to be a Parshas SHLITA, HaRav. And the person said, what am I going to do? I'm so young. I have children. I have a husband. What am I going to do? What's going to be? And I said, first step, you have to believe you're not sick. Hashem doesn't want to make people sick. So why did this happen to you? To strengthen your emunah and to strengthen your bitachon. I said, and I want to tell you something. Many people have died from illnesses unnecessarily and they got sicker. because their das became the vulbul, and instead of them being mechazik themselves in Amunah and Bitachon, you know what they did? They gave up. I said, this is going to be your ticket. I said, I'm telling you, it's going to be fine. If Hashem wanted it to be not fine, He would have told you that already. All He's given you is a heads up. You now have to make it fine. Your job is make it work. That's what you do. You made it work, and then the days started ticking down. Of course, they had to go through a whole procedure to go into the kishkis to really make the invasive matzah. And then the day before, the big day, I got another call. I can't hold on. I said, you got to hold on. 24 hours from now, we're going to hear good news. And the person says to me, what if it's not good news? I said, if it's not good news, I don't allow that thought to enter my mind. And you don't allow thought to enter my mind. If chas v'sholom, by some strange reason, you get bad news, we'll deal with that when you get there. But right now, it's only good news. There's nothing bad. And you have to go in there when you're late on a machine and they're going through your kishkis. You have to understand it's going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And her husband told me, I'm shocked. My wife usually falls apart. Like she's like a scaredy cat. When the wind blows, she's, I'm getting cancer. You know what I mean? If the wind blows, I'm getting a little sniffle. She's one of these people that gets all bent out of shape very easily. You know what happened? I was waiting on Shpilkis all day. That day, I called a bunch of times, we don't have answers. We had to wait till the next day. The next day they got the answer. They got the big answer. Doctor told them it was nothing. Good news! I said to this lady, now imagine if you wouldn't have tried to have it done. You know how many people, because they're looking for bad news, they make it bad news? You know how many people who think I'm going to lose my parnasa, and they're going to call me, I'm going to go down on my parnasa because the company is laying off people. I said, it doesn't have to be you. I learn with a guy every week that was told years ago, you have no place in this company. Start looking for another job. The guy came to me, mamish, I told other people. They said, we're laying off people, and you are a priority to be laid off. And they gave him a whole list of reasons. Told him to acknowledge them, it's a message from Hashem, and now do what you have to do. You have to believe you're going to be there to the day Hashem doesn't want you. 6 months later, he meets the boss. One day in the hall, the boss says to him, what are you still doing? You're not something part of this company anymore? And he didn't answer. He was a quiet man. He didn't answer. He was just like this. He raised his shoulders. And, I know that. It's your company, not mine. You understand? Call me up. He says, does that mean it's Kurt Cole? No. That's Hashem letting you know. He's still watching over you. That's why you're there. You're there because Hashem wants you to be there. Think you're going to be there. You're not getting. Do it the best you can. He says to me, maybe I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of people there much smarter than me. The tasks that they give me, I'm out to them. I said, I didn't give you that job. Hashem gave you the job. You got to do the best you can. And I'm telling you, this is a couple years later now. I still work with the company. Even my mind was blown. I said, what'd you get? What'd you cut? Did you get any? No, they didn't give him a bonus. And the whole team that was doing this work, he's the only one that didn't get a bonus. I said, so Hashem didn't give you a bonus. Okay. Everyone else destined to get a raise, not you. Mitzrayim next year, I'm willing to be talking. You'll get a bonus too. It's been a couple of years now. It's mamish marvel all right. People have to understand that is the key. And if you understand that's the key, then you're going to make it. So you have to. You're never allowed to allow. You should never allow negativity. And even when you hear something bad, you know what you say? It's going to turn out for the best. Because Hashem wants it to turn out for the best. You can assume you get better, but you got to make it happen. You got to be proactive. Now you have to undertake. So what the worst thing people do is, I'll tell you a very common thing that could happen. People get bad news. There was a fellow who one day got very bad news, very serious cancer. That night, the whole family was having a powwow, a meeting, all the families, the brothers, the cousins, came to the guy's house, having a big talk. And a mashulach, a choshev mashulach knocks on the door. They let him in, they say, it's not a good time. Get away from here. He says, what do you mean? Just help me, give me something. He says, a lot of people, they think this is a good opportunity, I can make some money over here. They threw him out of the house. Threw him out of the house. And I was talking to this mashulach, I said, at that time I didn't know. But I found out afterwards that was the day that that guy was told the bad news. Now it says in the Zohar that when Hashem gives a guy bad news, He gives a guy an opportunity to get out of the bad news. You know what that opportunity is? Hashem sends to him malach in the form of aniyim and nitzrachim, and some of these people very desperate aniyim, people who could really make a difference in your life. And Hashem says, this is your ticket. What you need now is malach hirachim. Help this fellow, and you'll get malach hirachim. The guy is not in this world anymore. He died a relatively short time later. Very healthy looking fellow. Even at that point, he was healthy. I was thinking to myself, I wonder if Hashem sent that person a malach hirachim. Imagine that person would have said, who's there? Tell him to come in. Tell him to come in. Let's help. Here I'm dealing with a friend who's very sick. And I tell him, start doing chesed. And he says, start doing chesed? I said, right now, start doing chesed. I can't walk, you said. I said, do your hands work? You're very proficient in a computer? Use your computer for something positive. Send out emails and spams to whoever you know and say, I'm in a very serious matzav. Could you spare $5 for my schus? Could you help me out from time to time? And we're going to give the money to Ali and Yisroel. You're going to marry if you say, could you help us out? I said, I can't do that. So I got on the phone with him and one of these autistic kids. And the autistic kids, I asked the child, is there anything that he could do that was over the phone to Yisroel? The child was 8 months old. And the child was asked the question. The lady who's holding the kid said to me, ask the question. I said, the question is there anything that this chayla can do to buy himself some time in his chus? And he said, type down, Y-E-S. Yes. What? Do chesed. So the guy said, but I can't. You know what the kid answered him? Why not? Your hands move. Your mind is still full, complete. Do chesed. Now, where did I get the answer? Not from just the kids. I got it from the Gemara. The Gemara says, he was a very bad man. Very bad man. And destroyed the Avigdor. Killed a lot of folks. And he wanted to buy some time. So he asked the governor, tell me, is there anything I can do? Is there anything I can do to buy myself some time? I said, yeah. You're a piker deluxe. The guy was the cheapest piker around. The guy was Azak Kargunski, Azak Kamsin Bar Kamsa. He said, open up your things and be Mefaris Ani. And he did. And I shouldn't give him 12 months. No Chazal say, there's a taina on that side who gave him that answer. But I figure if it works for a Russian Gomer Sheikh Kamoisa, I can work for him. So you have to know what to look for. That's step one in knowing. But the same is going to be for the Google Asidi. And now we have to know there's other things that a person can do to make things happen. Another major key in how a person buys himself some life insurance and to get himself out of situations. And for that, we shall discuss that tomorrow in SHLITA.